Might get upset. Now to recap, China, are they really harvesting our data, spying on our families, stealing our technology, threatening to invade our ally Taiwan, killing our people in this country, flooding the country with fentanyl, and now they're buying up thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of acres of American land. That would include 300 acres near a top-secret U.S. military drone base in North Dakota, 130,000 acres near a U.S. Air Force base in Texas. All told, China has either purchased land, installed telecommunications equipment near 4 U.S. Air Force bases. This is deeply concerning. Any American land owned by China's communist government is a huge problem. Here's what one rancher, because they're buying up ranches and farmland in droves, literally hundreds of thousands of acres. This is what one rancher told our own Sarah Carter. Take a look.
I mean, it's kind of stunning. The Chinese Communist Party is actually purchasing property in the United States of America, here, farmlands, ranches.
You know, you're right. It is very shocking, and they're known, adversaries of the United States. So how are we allowing that to happen? And someone needs to ask that hard question and dive into that and hold someone accountable for that, because it's gonna, it's not gonna turn out in a good manner.
The rancher's right. We need to ask the question. Biden needs to answer it because he's doing nothing. However, I must give credit where it's due to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and that would be General Milley. He's been meeting with his counterparts in the region, hopefully building strong enough partnerships to be able to stand up to China, especially their very strong territorial ambitions towards Taiwan and elsewhere. And at the same time, the administration is now looking to ease tariffs, increase imports, and make matters worse. 1 million barrels of American oil that Biden released from our strategic petroleum reserves shipped to China? That's for us in case of an emergency. What's really going on? Here with the full report from Oklahoma, investigative reporter, journalist, Fox News contributor Sarah Carter. Sarah, how many thousands of acres are we talking about? And why is it farmland? Why are we talking about ranches? And why are so many locations close to military installations?
Those are the same questions, Sean, that Governor Kevin Stitt, as well as Governor Ron DeSantis, Governor Greg Abbott are asking. Governors all across this country, mainly GOP governors, are asking those exact same questions. What we know is this: 192,000 acres of land were actually purchased by China, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, by 2019. But just this last year, over the past 12 months prior to March, $6.1 billion of land, and this is according to the National Real Estate Association, was purchased by the Chinese Communist Party. Here in Oklahoma, where Governor Stitt is now investigating loopholes in the system that have actually allowed straw men, people that are pretending to be one thing but are actually representing China, to purchase the land. And not only that, what they're discovering is that the Chinese Communist Party is actually laundering money for Mexico. Take a listen to this with Kevin Stitt today out on his family's farmland. There's been enormous concern, though, lately about information and evidence that the Chinese Communist Party has been purchasing land here in the United States, hundreds of thousands of acres, near our most sensitive military installations, our farmland, our ranches. Does that concern you?
It really does. We just found out, we pulled the stats, and Oklahoma was the number one land purchases by the communists or foreign nationals last year, 2020, than any other state. It's like 380,000 acres. So that's a red flag for anybody, and we need to have strong borders. We need to know exactly what's happening. It's already illegal in Oklahoma for foreign nationals to own ranch and farmland, and what they're doing is because of the marijuana industry, they're coming in. We've got kind of a low barrier to entry, so they are coming in and using straw buyers and buying up land for really drug trafficking, illegal drug trafficking. So we're passing laws to get control of that here in our state.
And money laundering too, right?
And money laundering. We just had a huge drug bust where we arrested about 15 foreign nationals, $500 million in marijuana, and seized some bank accounts in other states where they were laundering money through. And we all should be concerned about the Communist Party and what they're doing. and where they're purchasing land and what's the purpose behind it. You've got to really ask yourself, and you know that the Communist Party is monitoring everything their citizens do. So we would be fools to think that they're not monitoring what's happening in the U.S. and strategically planning spies or whatever their alternative motives are. But we need to control our own food supply, just like we need to control our own energy supply. We need to meet the demands of Americans with our own resources. And when we sell our assets away, or we use other foreign governments to supply our needs in America, that's a national security issue for us, and it's something that needs to be taken seriously, and I just don't see the Biden administration doing anything about it.
Sean, I can tell you this, both intelligence officials that I've spoken to, both here in the United States and overseas, are very concerned about what Governor Stitt is talking about. These lands purchased right near our most sensitive military installations, they believe, are being accessed by the Chinese Communist Party, Chinese military, as well as Chinese intelligence. And they say they need to get to the bottom of this. They need to put a stop to it. But they don't have any hope that the Biden administration is going to do that. Sean?
Sarah Carter, scary report. Thank you very much. The governor was dead on accurate. Now, my next guests are vowing to investigate China's U.S. land grab, hold them accountable if they are able to take back the majority in the House. Here with more is Florida Congressman Mike Waltz, along with Texas Congressman Chip Roy. Mike, let me start with you. This is a real clear present danger. If I was making policy, I would make them sell that land back to the U.S., considering, as the governor pointed out, it's illegal in the first place in Oklahoma.
Yes, Sean, let me tell you what's going on in these Air Force bases. Number one, the one in North Dakota has some of our most sensitive drone and space technology that connects our space assets to our drones. So to intercept that from a few miles away isn't that hard. And down in Texas, where they're buying up hundreds of thousands of acres, where we train our pilots, the bigger piece, Sean, is that the Chinese Communist Party, as part of their national strategy to replace us as a global power, is seeking to dominate our supply chains. They already dominate our pharmaceuticals. They dominate solar panels and wind turbines that the left are trying to push us towards, the lithium supply. And in this case, now it's our food supply. In addition to this land that they're buying up, they've also bought the nation's largest pork processing plant. They're buying up grain mills because they know that if they can win this economically, if they can choke us off with these key supply chains, add computer chips and all kinds of others on top of it, then they don't even have to worry about a military conflict. And you add our debt on top of that as these stimulus checks keep flowing out to deal with a virus that they unleashed on us, that are flowing through Amazon and Walmart right to their manufacturing. It's checkmate. So my message is, when you see made in China, put it down. It's not just a jobs issue. It's a national security issue, and we've got to wake up as a country.
Congressman Chip Roy, I've always been a peace through strength person. You see, because of the weakness of the president,